Do it!
Dear Billy Basketball Ref, I'm a 25-year-old man in my last year at university. I work full-time, late nights, 6 days a week at a mutual labor job because I can't work a 9-to-5 office job with school. I've been making the money at a job for my entire adult life because I bought into this idea of grinding hard until I one day graduate and get a cushy job and can finally afford a home and a life. First of all, you're only 25. You're talking like you're 55. My family only checks in on me once in a while to remind me that I'm poor. My sister just texted me to show off her new gold-plated, diamond-encrusted, shiny white Land Rover from the future that she got for her birthday and from her husband because the Audi SUV wasn't enough and it was starting to get old. That was in quotes. I drive a clapped-out Jetta. I don't know what clapped out means, but with this description, that means you're driving a shitbox. With busted headlights and a cracked bumper because I can't afford to fix it. My big birthday gift is 2 tickets I bought myself to go see some stand-up with a friend. My sister didn't even go to college. She just married a guy with money, and I feel like she has no idea how hard I work to just get by on my lower-class lifestyle. As you may know, rent is going crazy lately, and I was priced out of my one-bedroom apartment and forced to move into an old house on the outskirts of town with some work friends. My parents heard about my move, and rather than supporting my hard decision to relocate, all they wanted to tell me was how I chose a bad neighborhood. Like I'm in some idiot. Like as if I'm choosing to live in the ghetto and I don't know any better. I lived in this city all through college. I'm keenly aware of what I can afford and where. I'm not saying my family owes me anything, but is at least a little moral support too much to ask? Sometimes it is. You know, just because they're your family doesn't mean they're cool. And that's one of the weirdest things when you have to cut out people that are actually in your family. You can't always 100% do it because you are related to them or whatever, but like maybe you can just put your sister on mute a little bit. I know if anyone knows the feeling of being broke, it's a career comedian. As to someone who I'm sure has been there before, how do you respond to these family members? You don't. If you truly think that your sister's doing that to rub it in your face, and she's not just clueless or whatever, then, you know, that's just something you have to, like, deal with it. That's a really weird thing. When there's a sibling or a parent or something like that that is in your life that, you know the deal where if you're like, if you weren't related to me, I would have cut you out of my life 20 years ago. You know, that situation, that's a tough thing to be in. Because everyone's like, oh, you got to hang in there because they're going to die someday and you're going to regret it. It's just like, what am I missing out on? He says, how do I go home from my job at 2 a.m. and not feel like an absolute loser night after night, knowing no one else in my circle had to do any of this? Thanks for all the awesome free content and all the laughs. I don't know. You know what? I can't tell you. I haven't gone through years like that. Like, I remember when I was driving a box and rather than trading it in, I just had a guy put a new engine in the thing. And I just remember the woman that I work with, like, didn't even understand it because they all had, like, car notes and stuff. And I knew I wanted to be a comedian. I had to keep my expenses down. And I told her, she goes, so you're going to get a new car? I said, you know what? I decided to put a new engine in my truck instead. She just made this face and just goes, that was stupid. So what I would do with your sister, oh, that's awesome. Congratulations on your Land Rover. And just stop expecting her to understand what it is that you're going through. And don't expect your parents. I would just go humor. You know, like when your parents are like, well, that's a bad neighborhood. And just be like, yeah, I know. I like living on the edge. That's how I am. You know, I'm a risk taker. And then I would just block them out. And I would just continue doing what it is that you're doing. So I think you do. It sounds like you need some sort of direction because if your end result is you just want to get a cushy job where you're making money, I'm just speaking myself personally that if I had a cushy job where I was making a bunch of money that I didn't love, eventually I would be bored shitless. So I would try to find a job that you love where you can make enough money to live your life and like, look, you know, I would be honest with you. I would just keep doing what you're doing. You don't need people like that in your life, in your day-to-day. They're family, so you have to tolerate them. And I would just concentrate on trying to find a person to share your life with that you truly love and that isn't like those people. But maybe if you had time, talk to somebody too so you don't repeat it and marry somebody like your mom or your sister if they're the way you're saying it. They are, you know. I don't know. It's a lot of buddy. It's a lot of stuff you're going through. I have empathy for you, but you're only 25 years old. I mean, when I was 25, I was still living at home with a rusted out car with a new engine in it. Look, yeah, just keep your head up. You're only 25 years old, and all of this struggling that you're doing is going to build character, and you won't have fears in life because you've been where you've been. You know, your sister someday, if the rich guy she's with goes belly up, she's not going to know how to survive. Not that I'm wishing that on her. All right.